started, and I know Jackie won't be with us today.
How was your vacation? Oh, we're being recorded, I forgot.
No, vacation was great. So, did everybody have a chance to review the minutes? I
Yes.
personally did not have a chance to look at
I mean,
them.
they just came yesterday.
So I'd like to move the minutes to next time if we
Oh,
could.
I was just gonna make a suggestion,
Yeah.
and I don't have a copy in front of me, but one place there, it was asking ideas for new members, new
Yes.
commissioners. And there were two names given, both delightful people, but it was also said by me and somebody else, I don't know if it was Jackie or who, this is a great opportunity to get people that haven't served so much as the two suggestions. Could that be, do you remember that?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then some of the people that were mentioned are known for they have agendas, which is great, you know, you have to have an agenda in life, but maybe we could get some fresh agendas.
Agreed.
Okay.
I sent forward letters to those two individuals. I didn't hear anything back yet, so I would certainly be 100% supportive of finding new blood where we can. And I think there's opportunities coming up for that. There's a volunteer fair, which I listed here. Rachel knows a little bit more about it than I do, but it's coming up in September, so that might be a good opportunity. And yeah, absolutely, anyone who wants to certainly can. So anyone who lives in the village can be a commissioner, and just about anyone can be a researcher, so absolutely.
Does the volunteer fair, is that on campus or is that in?
I believe it's a SUNY.
Yeah, I think it's on the student union building.
Right. I believe it's the 21st, if I'm not mistaken. Rachel forwarded something about it, so she would be the one to ask.
I was thinking of suggesting also a press release to do post times with the headline, "The environmentalists wanted,"
Yep.
and then just,
And also the Oracle.
members wanted for the EPC.
And then the Oracle, the student paper, we could probably get into too. Maybe just send
Yeah.
a letter to the editor
It'd just
there.
be, good to have our net spread wide, that's all.
You
Agreed.
get a Facebook post out there too, from the town page or whatever, or village
Yeah,
page.
there's a new Paltz page on Facebook that's
I
pretty well traveled.
deactivated my Facebook today because I'm actually interviewing at a law firm, so
Right.
I have to keep it on.
I hear ya.
Yeah, but anyone else can do that easily.
Yeah, so that might be another place to look. It tends to be rather active-minded folk that are on there. Also, some people who are already involved in one way, shape, or form with various things in the community, but others who perhaps
I
aren't.
will approve the minutes next week.
Yeah, let's move the minutes
That
from
suggestion.
June to the next one, or from July rather.
When are you no longer going to be here?
I don't think I'm gonna be at the next meeting,
Oh,
but, you can let me know if you approve them and I'll send them on if there isn't some way.
Okay. And that's one of the things we'll talk about while Don's here, because Don will only be here for a half an hour, so we'll touch on that. The only other thing before we get into specific items, we had public comment last time, and we don't have our full group here, but I did want to discuss public comment. It's not something that often happens, but I thought it might be a good idea to perhaps have some kind of protocol for when it does. The last time someone visited, they waited until the end of our discussions to have their discussion, and typically public comment would occur before, the commissioner, the board, or whomever began their regular business. So I thought it would be a good idea to move public comment up to the top of our agenda in the event that anyone was there. And that, I don't ever imagine we would have a situation like the village board where there'd be 20 people who wanted to comment. It's possible, we might hit a nerve, we might hit a nerve, but I don't necessarily see it happening. But I just think we should move it to the top of the agenda, and then, if there is a crowd, perhaps asking the people to limit their comments to 2 minutes if there's a large crowd. Or
I just want to
if
say that
necessary.
the comment last week, she waited out of respect for what we were doing,
Right.
complimented us on our assiduous work and stuff, so I thought she was pretty impressive.
Yeah, she was fantastic. I mean, she's obviously someone who's done her homework, so But, you know, out of courtesy, we can
Oh,
move
sure,
that
no, I
up.
agree with you, but I wanted to just affirm that she had made a good presentation.
Great.
Jackie, another great day, huh?
Jackie,
Jackie, I'm
Great.
sorry. Oh my God, I'm having a great day. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just a little bit tired. I haven't slept enough for
What?
I haven't been sleeping enough.
Oh, gee.
It's okay. I work a night shift, so I asked for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, how's everybody doing? Good?
So in light of Don having to leave, let's do the couple things that maybe he could shed some light on from the village perspective for us. One of the items that I think would fall into that category is the open space inventory. Noah and I talked a little bit before we got started about what that might entail, and Noah was able to, or the village was able to procure the software that Noah would need in order to get that done. So, Noah, maybe your thoughts, and then...
I mean, if it's just going over like the percentage of land coverage, like every parcel, whatever, that is open space or green, you know, is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Alright, that wouldn't take too long. If I come in like on a Saturday or something, I could get done in a day. I've done that for labs for a whole city in Ithaca before, like different projects like that. And it wasn't just open space, it was classifying it as open space and then deciduous forest, coniferous forest, even more, technically more complex stuff, but it's, I think I could get back into it pretty easily. I have a guide to it in my house, so.
Maybe we can just make sure you have the keys.
Yeah, alright, I mean, what works for you, basically? I don't know, maybe this weekend would work, but, I'll send you an email. Alright, perfect.
I live in the village, so.
Is
Yeah.
any of
aren't
us...
you gonna need
Yeah, I know where you live, it's next to Matt School's.
Yeah.
I was friends with him back.
No other questions?
Aren't you going to need the data to enter into the program?
It's GIS clearinghouse, everything is digital, it's all clean, I can do it myself, no questions asked.
Someone might have
The state of New
assembled it
York
already.
procures it through taxpayer money.
What is it saying?
I'm saying some of this work might have already been done.
It's not hard.
It's not hard to do though, no, but
I
Um,
asked Michael Zeller if he knew where the space file, what are they called, space files?
Shape files?
Shape files.
We don't need, I don't even need those.
He
I
can-
go on
yeah.
the GIS clearinghouse online and basically digitize it myself, and it will get it within a certain range of accuracy, and I'll make sure that it is at least my finest work to the best of my abilities, and at least gets the results. When you look at it by parcel, if you zoom in as far to the nearest pixel, that it stays within that line, and then therefore we count it as open space or not. And technology is great nowadays to where colors are presented on a rainbow in numbers basically, and you pick out the numbers that match the color green, say, of an open space area.
But if some of it has been done, I found it, I could never find it again online, but it's out of date, I think.
oh well, I mean, of course the town did it, and the village has tried a couple times, but basically it's up to the village board. You were asking like to what extent you would need to assemble details, because what held it up the last
I
time.
keep it within the parcel. It's just a matter of I would not present something to the village board that was not up to my standards.
Oh,
That's
okay.
all. I wasn't asking the question of how fine do you
That's
want it.
important
And
though,
here's
because
the village board.
Well,
Right.
I'll make sure it's
no, because that
online.
it's really up to them. The town map is, if you look at the town open space map, the one they used to become a board rather than a committee, which is the point of this, it's like, it has almost no detail at all. If you look at it and it's just like this, the map, and it sort of vaguely shows where there's no buildings. But it's totally up to the board what level of detail they want. That's what held it up the last time, was a dispute over, somebody wanted to know like what percentage of allowable building had been done on each lot. And there's like a calculus for that too, which is crazy.
No, that's a lot more technically
Exactly.
complex. Because then you have to look into the permitting data of each parcel, which
Exactly.
it's not the task of the
It's
thing.
not
If you want
on
that
GIS, you
done,
have
they
to-
would have to present the data to me in an Excel file. I'm not going out and fishing that. But I will guarantee a digitized map
Right, you don't,
the land
you
cover
probably don't
percentage.
need to. So what I'm saying is it's up to the board.
I don't,
Yeah, but let's
I
not.
think we're getting
do it.
tangential here.
No, of course not.
I think this is much more basic than we're.
Absolutely
trying to
should
drive.
do it, but if the question is what does it have to be, it's up to the board. Like if they're in favor of approving it, they'll approve it, and if they're not, they'll find some reason.
That's
We'll-
right,
we'll-
but
we'll-
we'll do
We'll
something.
question it when those questions come to us, but right now, I think I have
That would
an
be
agenda
awesome.
set out. Before we get things too complicated, let's move on to the next.
All right,
While he's here, we're gonna just
On-
touch
on
on
that point-
plastic bag.
before we move off the
Oh, I'm
open
sorry.
space inventory, just 2 points of clarification. That would be public and private open space. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and then the other thing that I think was a question about that was, are we including historic sites? I know that was an issue the last time that somebody attempted to do it.
Those are protected anyhow.
Would
Yeah.
would they also be part of the open
Qualified
space
open
inventory?
space, yeah, I
I
would say
think.
so.
So whenever he comes
Well,
back. we can-
That's easy to
I mean,
add on or take off at
It
any point.
depends, like, you're just trying to define parcels that are fully open, not the percentage of green coverage or vegetative coverage, right? It's just
Oh, you mean
purely-
parcels that are full, no, I don't, that's a really interesting question. Because a
Well,
lot of places,
One's a little more complex than the other, but both aren't too bad.
right. Because, you know, if the point is to protect the open space, if you could have a big open space, you know, if a person owns that open space, but they've only got, you know, an envelope for a house on one corner of it, and they've already built that house, and then there's no risk that they're going to, like, you know, put an apartment building in their backyard, you know what I mean? So
Well-
it's,
I'll shoot an email to the mayor of the board asking some of those questions,
Okay.
and before the weekend comes, I'll give you the answer.
I mean, I'll send you an email tomorrow, and I'll CC Dave, I guess, about setting up a time to use the software in the village hall here.
Okay?
Yeah, maybe even I'll sit down with Dave, talk with him about it further, about what exactly he's looking for, because he has a bit more technical experience than some of the people who are here and who are not here. Like the mayor probably doesn't know much about GIS, so I think Dave would be a good way to go through, because he has experience.
Okay, the other item, two other items I think it would be useful to have Don here for. The first would be the plans for the hotel mixed use, latest scheme for the pit behind Village Hall. I would imagine if there was anything planned, it would first have to go through the planning board, and anything that was going to go through there would have to go through the seeker process. So has anything been proposed officially, or?
That group wanting to develop that site is giving a presentation to the village board tomorrow.
Okay.
And I believe where it stands is a pre-application has been made to the planning board with, you know, I guess an application. I think they want to see how the village board feels about it before they make a formal application.
I see. Okay, so that would be, I would say, let's see what the presentation yields and then revisit.
So there's no, sorry.
Go ahead.
There's no environmental assessment, no talk about that yet, right?
They're not there
No
yet.
application yet.
Yeah, all right, it's pre-application, they're proposing it. All right. Just want to keep on top of that, because I won't be there tomorrow, because usually that's my role, attending these meetings, so will you be there? or-
no, well,
I
I mean.
very well may be able to, yeah.
My
That's
issue is
pretty
that we
big
should
for a
have,
village.
that
Yeah.
regardless
That
of
is
what gets
technically
built there, we
open
need
space
to
for-
examine the
I mean,
pre-existing
It's a pit, but it
conditions.
is open space in the sense. that
And
it's been
the
developed.
issue that I have is that every plan I've ever seen for that space has involved burying the stream, and we just made a big deal about daylighting it. So if you're gonna daylight the stream runs through Peace Park, and then it goes under the road, and then it comes out and goes along Hasbrook. So if you're gonna daylight the stream in one spot, they just put up a marker on Peace Park describing why they daylighted it and what the purpose of it was, then
Okay?
then no matter what gets built there, I feel like we should request, demand, or whatever, that they don't bury the stream. And that's, this plan that they're going to show tomorrow buries the stream. And so I feel like, you know, regardless of what gets built there, it's gonna get built on the pre-existing conditions. So I feel like as a group or whatever, we should look at those, and so that we're ready for whatever comes in there, and we say, look, daylight the stream, these are the drainage issues, and then I guess, probably someone else will take up the traffic, which is obviously an issue with that space. I mean, it's this space right here.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, John, you're thinking you'll go to that meeting?
I believe I should be able to attend
Oh,
that.
good.
Yeah, that should be okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Good,
not
I
an issue.
probably.
Yeah, I've got family in, but they should be out by dinner time, so I will plan to attend. And we will revisit that next time, and if they, if they put together anything formal, pack it up, get copies and move it forward. The last thing for which Don could be helpful was going to be the last thing, because it involved thanking Andrea, who's going to be leaving us, for all of her wonderful service and for
Yes,
being so
indeed.
fantastic and getting us off the ground and just being all around great. So thank you for everything, and we hope you enjoy your family time and don't get too busy doing other things. But
No, wait a minute. I will get too busy doing
yes, of course, naturally. But in terms of recruiting someone to fill Andrea's spot, you said you might have some thoughts on that?
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of flux right now in village employees, part-time employees, supporting like the planning board and the zoning board of appeals, and there've been, I guess, one individual left, and there's been a little bit of shuffling to find who covers what else. I mentioned to the mayor today, I haven't seen the post office, that we might need to tap into someone for the secretary spot, and that's something that's being discussed over the next couple of weeks, who gets where. I guess it's easy to get coverage during the day. When we talk about evening, it gets a little more
Of
challenging.
course, yeah.
So I think the village board will probably try to sort some of that stuff out between now and the next meeting. I don't think we're going to solve it for the next EPC meeting.
Okay. If worse comes to worse, and my laptop continues to somewhat work, I can take notes as we talk, but they wouldn't be as detailed in the interim. So if you kind of want to just keep me in the loop on that, and if it looks like we can't get one of those folks to help us out, we could also go public with that through the various meetings we talked about, funding commissioners. Okay, so we'll kind of do a wait and see on that. And in the meantime, if worse comes to worse and we don't have anyone next time, I'll just do it digitally.
And if you send the notes around with you, he might remember something that I might, or Rachel might. Yeah.
I want to ask a related question, but I don't want to use up all of Don's time.
Okay.
So if it seems like it's going to be too time consuming, we can address it later, or you can address it later. So I do rely on the DVD to help me with the minutes, and I understand that there will no longer be a village videographer, so I wasn't sure do you know what the plan is for that?
Well, one of the very last acts of the last board was to order automated equipment to film by remote control. Someone can control the laptop with the idea of using some of the savings from not having a live videographer to finance things like purchasing the Millbrook Reserve. They look for a lot of areas where they can find that money, and this is one of the areas that they identified. What we're going to talk about tomorrow night's meeting is when this was done, all they thought about was the filming of meetings. But they didn't think about who's going to get the DVD to the place where it gets uploaded to Channel 23, who's going to upload the videos to YouTube, who's going to maintain the Facebook page, all the other public access coordinator stuff besides filming. So no one thought about that, and right now there's no plan for any of that. So we'll try to do that at the meeting tomorrow night. Yeah, there's a lot of
I'll go to that
expertise.
meeting tomorrow night too.
All right. This is sounding like a more interesting meeting by
We had Andrea and I have been co-chairs of the Public Access Committee, and they made this decision, but nobody asked us anything. I didn't know about it. And we might have had some advice, but no one asked, so we'll figure it out after the fact.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
great.
Wow, that's.
All right, so then we will kind of take a wait and see position and see how things turn out, because you're absolutely right, the BBD is a useful resource in lieu of a secretary, and we may or may not have that, so, okay. All right, let's see, other things that we may need Don for. If anyone wants to just quickly review the agenda, I have another copy here.
Plastic bag, stuff. He may have some input into whatever we're going to discuss, I don't know.
Sure, I could talk about that if that's something we think. Yeah, is there anything other than that?
What was the question?
Things that Don has to leave us in 5 minutes, so what would be is there any items on the agenda that would be most useful to have him present for, that we might want to have questions related to the village? I'm sure you'd be useful for all of them, but.
I don't know that yet, so it's okay.
Okay. Not village, but town.
But
Yeah.
near next to the village though, it has
Yeah,
implications
yeah.
for the village.
So the two things that we're seeing now, Don, and maybe you could just suggest which might be of more interest. The plastic bag law promotion, $200 was allocated. I found out some information on signage that you may want to touch base on. The other item that might be of interest is CDS and whether there's been any developments on that side, so I don't know.
Well, I think the village board did allocate $200, and the aluminum signs are pretty inexpensive. I think whatever was left over, the stickers were also, the window stickers were kind of cool and also inexpensive. So whatever else you might want to do. But I think, like at relative to $35 a sign, that's a lot, that's a decent amount of signage. So.
Okay. I actually went to PDQ and talked with them about what they would have available. And they have aluminum signage at $13.50 a square foot. It's not the bend in the letters kind of signage that you would see on a municipal sign. Rather, they would take a design, screen print that onto aluminum, and then laminate over that. So it could be really any design at $13.50 a square foot. So the $35 a sign was what we pay for our municipal signs, give or take.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We came up with some ideas for what the sign would say.
yeah,
Like bring your own bag, and I thought that was the best one, BYOB,
I was able to find some online.
Well, a bunch of them were sent to you by me and Jackie and other people. Does that need to go to the village? I mean, to the board, excuse me?
I guess the village would probably want to see what signs are being put up in the village. But I think we'd be very much inclined to take your recommendation unless it's something really strange.
Yeah.
And I don't see anything like that coming out of this commission. The update on CVS is that the comment period is still open, or was still open, until sometime, I think, this coming week. There was a joint letter sent out signed by the mayor, the Huguenot Historical Society, and the village board, essentially opposing the project and saying, "You mind if our gateway? It's the interest to our village. It's important, and to clear cut, put a CVS there would really send the wrong signal and not be consistent with the values of New Paltz." So that letter, I think, was kind of powerful, having it signed by
Who did it go to?
It went to the town planning board. Is considering the question. So that's the update from the village standpoint, and from the project standpoint, the comment period is about to close. I guess the planning board then will figure out what they're going to do.
Okay. All right. Anything else we want to discuss with Don while he's here? All right. Thank you, Don.
See you next time.
I'll be in touch.
Take care now.
Yes, thanks. My wife was away until yesterday, and a meeting for the next week. So.
You want to spend time with her? Oh,
I'll be
my.
in touch.
Old-fashioned
We'll
guy.
make each other this weekend.
Yeah, or next weekend, whatever.
Whatever. Either one.
Okay.
Let's stay on plastic bag law since we kind of opened the can of worms. I went and spoke with PDQ about the different kinds of signage that they have available. And I can sort of, I'll give you the big picture. There's three different materials that they would use. One is the cheapest, it's a flimsy plastic. And I sort of started thinking about the bad irony that would be taking place if we were using plastic to promote a law to not use plastic. So I'll tell you that it's for approximately $140, you get a 48 by 96 sheet of this stuff, which would be 32 12 by 12 signs for 140 bucks. As you can see, the material is pretty flimsy.
Where are they
I
going to get
myself.
The idea, I think, was parking areas, mostly where people would park for village shopping. So we talked about a couple different ones. The one over here, Oasis, sort of laundromat back area. Behind what used to be Yanni's, that parking area. Perhaps the postal parking area. Perhaps a sign. Well, one of the problems we talked about was we don't own the posts, so we couldn't really put signage there, but perhaps along the main drag on Main Street where people park next to the boutiques. Anywhere where you would have parking and foot traffic where it would be useful to remind people to bring plastic bags or to remind them of the law. So that was kind of the main idea we came up with for how to use $200 to promote the law.
The big markets are not, none of the markets, even my market is not in the village, is it?
My market, no.
So
It's just over the edge, or?
It's just on the other side, right?
No, I
I think it might
no, I
be
think
in
it
the
is
village.
Montague.
Oh, is Baltic the dividing line?
Well, even a lot of people who live on Montague vote in
In the
the village
village,
election,
okay.
so then my market must be in the village.
Well, that
Where's the
would be-
border exactly? Is it
That's
Bonacue?
right, that might be it.
Because a lot of times it's like one side of the street is in and the other side is out.
Yeah.
Well, it would be the my market side.
If it's
Bonacue,
Bonacue,
definitely.
I think it might be.
I don't know.
But that would be the only market, which is too bad.
And
Yeah.
that's a private lot, so
We'd have to speak.
we would have to get permission to put anything in a private lot.
So like the lot behind, Yanni's the private lot, the lot behind the, also that's all private.
But it's metered over there though, the lot behind Yanni's now, so maybe it's
Oh, yeah, no, it's not, you're right.
It's
Well, it must
metered,
be.
yeah. I think there's parking for the apartments, but that little, maybe it's 6 spots there, those are all metered, so.
Anyway, the village would know it's.
Yeah, and that's something we could talk to David Gilmore too, about where best to situate those signs, so that they get the most visibility. So there was another material, this is dye bond. It appears to have some kind of plastic in the middle and maybe some kind of a metallic outside finish. This is the most expensive and most durable at $15.50 a square foot. In the middle of that is aluminum, $13.50 a square foot. You can print single side. As I was saying to Don, this wouldn't be the kind of signs you would see where the letters are pressed and then there's coloring over them. This, they would actually print a design on top of the aluminum and then they would put a veneer of some sort over that to protect it. That design could be colorful. It could be, a design, a picture. It wouldn't have to be one color or two colors like a municipal sign. And that would be $13.50 a square foot, using any combination of standard colors. They don't have neon, they don't have that kind of thing, but standard colors can be used.
So I'm having trouble picturing square feet. So the sign, yeah.
Yardstick by a
So,
yardstick, so.
Yeah, we would want larger than that, maybe twice that.
Perhaps.
In order to be readable, maybe?
Yeah, and we could look at what the standard municipal sign is, because that long rectangle would be about,
Oh, okay.
right, so it may be more like 12 by 24, or something like that. So that comes out to $13.50 per square foot. So you could take the 200 and divide it, you know, into 13, 15, we'd have an idea of what
So
we're working
I
with.
like that last one most myself. What other people think?
The aluminum, or, yeah, and it's very durable. The veneer, he said, you know, you have to worry about vandalism. Obviously, this stuff would be immediately vandalized. This is the most durable, but it's not pure aluminum. And this, you know, I think the veneer would lend itself to perhaps being wiped off if somebody wrote on it, but I mean, we can't really control for that. There's nothing we can.
And how are they fastened?
They would drill holes for us. They would
Yeah.
punch any holes that we need, and then it would be screwed in. I guess the DPW would have to take care of that. So those would be bolted in.
Great. I think it's a great project.
So then the next thing for that would be a design. And there were the designs that you had forwarded. I found a couple more that were interesting, and I'll just pop this off. Hopefully this will stay on. One that actually had a town logo on it, which I thought was nice. And then another one that was in 2 languages. It was in English and Spanish, which I thought was nice. So let me take a look at these.
How big is our Spanish-speaking population here? I just have no idea.
Off the top of my head, I don't know. And we also have exchange students that speak
Everything.
myriad
Yeah, I don't
languages.
think we should target any language.
Any particular language would give us an advantage.
I think there might be a bigger exchange ratio from like Asia rather
Yeah, I
than
think so.
Spanish-speaking
I think
areas.
so.
Right in South America, Spain, whatever you want.
Yeah, so one of these has, please remember to bring your bags, and then it has the town logo and a recycle sign. The other,
We could use that.
yeah, we could potentially use that. And I'm sure there's one already in digital formats. When we got to the design phase, we could just cut and paste it on.
Here's an idea, speaking of banners, maybe since it's a town, we're trying to advertise in the village, and the village has a lot of light poles, we can do a flagpole over commonly trafficked areas. And that's pretty cheap, relatively,
That's a great punch.
and it's durable, and you can move locations with it, you wouldn't have to leave it stationary.
Yeah, that's an idea.
Just a thought.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So you can make that huge, drink it over the bridge one week, next week you move it on the side of P&G's or wherever, whatever business gives you permission to do it.
So like a banner that could be
Yeah.
put in different
Yeah,
places.
and then if you do a volunteer stand, put it out.
Okay, so then we'd want to, let's see if we can go ahead and find some prices.
Yeah.
Downward. I know the,
I don't know any embroiderers.
the village board is
No,
pretty big on it.
It's pretty good
Oh, it does?
for churches, I know.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we could ask PDQ about prices.
What about a comment? Could they give us a deal if we do both, like a little both?
We may be able to talk to them. I did speak to, the gentleman I spoke to was Peter Bowers, and he was really helpful and accommodating, and I'm sure we could speak to him about specifics when we got there. I guess the next thing then, if we agree that signage and potentially a banner is the way to go, and we agree on the medium as aluminum, and then whatever we
Yeah.
find in a banner, the next phase would be to think about the design. So,
I'm no design student, don't look at me.
yeah, that's not necessarily my wheelhouse.
I tell you, PDQ has done some good work for other organizations that I'm involved with, but I don't know what they charge for that.
For the design,
Yeah.
right? I know we've talked about community involvement in other areas, and plastic bag law promotion was one of them, but this could also be an opportunity to open things up to the public, and we're trying to design a sign.
Maybe a contest in the paper and maybe advertise it in the Oracle and, I don't know, go from there, reward to be determined.
Contest is a really good idea, because it.
Don't you have connections at SUNY? No?
Well, I mean,
Oh, I thought you may
I
have.
go to the environmental task force meetings on campus.
Oh, cool, well,
How
spread
do we
word
start?
there, yeah.
Somebody there
but you
might
could-
have a skill.
Oh, yeah, well, it's an interesting group. It's all the different environmentals, like student and faculty. And it's a good, all kinds of stuff gets discussed there. I don't know when the first meeting is, but they only meet during the semester, which is starting, so.
Fairly soon,
I mean, I could ask there.
It has
I don't know, like,
Yeah.
it has started.
You could consider using the same font you use for the decals, you
The design, you mean, yeah.
know? Yeah.
The only thing that concerns me about that is it might not be saying enough. You know what I mean, in terms of informing people what it is you're actually,
Yeah, I don't mean the same message,
But the same design.
Design so that it's
Consistent.
coordinated.
yeah, that's a good idea, so that, yeah.
I mean, here's a quick idea that should be on it, is at least a comparison of allowable bag to a not allowable bag, either in words or in picture, because bring your own bag, what does that mean? Does
I
it
like
mean-
remember, because people, that's the main complaint I hear from people is, oh yeah, I forgot my bag, oh, I forgot it. You know, people know to bring the bag, they just forget it.
Right, and it doesn't matter what kind of bag they bring, it's just that the businesses can't give out certain types of bag, but if they want to, you want to bring a plastic bag.
Well,
Some municipalities say recyclable bag, but we don't need to say that. I think that's too much information, and just
I mean, I'm not
remember
saying
your
it, but
bag.
visually, because people don't like to read words, they remember pictures and things easier.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a law and policy student, I like words, but general populace will get a bunch of words like that. How many rooms have you walked in and actually remembered the number of people? If they represented just a number on there, you remember it a lot easier.
Well, okay. But
I mean,
the words might, just remember your bag.
Well, I'm not saying that, but like, airing text, like, just besides like bring your own bag is about the only thing I
Right.
have on there.
and I like, I'm kind of partial to this
Yeah,
one
no,
particular
it's
sign.
a great
because
design, don't get me
Which
wrong.
one?
The orange one that, oh, my computer just stopped.
Well,
The
it's a great
orange sign that said, please bring your own shopping bag, and then had the town logo. And you were saying maybe the logo piece, but maybe what we do in the interest of time is maybe we open up a file to sort of brainstorm on this a little bit. And we put some of the different pictures, the pictures that you sent and that Jackie sent, these pictures here, and some, we pretty much have that already happening with the information.
It's there.
Yeah, let's try to centralize it and maybe revisit this next time now that we've agreed the sign is the way to go, and perhaps a banner, and then do a little more thinking on our own in the interest of time.
I kind of feel like, even though signs can be put up all year round, we probably want to ask the folks to do this before harsh weather,
Yeah, I think so.
so we have a little time.
And especially once the snow starts getting piled up, those signs might
Yeah.
disappear depending on where they are.
Yeah, before the holidays.
Yeah. So yes, duly noted. So let's, I'll set up a file for this, and we'll kind of do a little more thinking on it and try to come up with an action plan next time we meet for what we want to put on the sign and perhaps where. And I'll reach out to David Gilmore and maybe Blue to see if they have any ideas about where would be the most efficacious place to put the signage.
Maybe we can just reference the traffic study for that if we need be, but Dave has the answers really.
Yeah, so we'll create a doc,
And
and
you can
we'll,
put the things that have already gone back and forth in your file.
Maybe the buildings would let you put one on the wall.
Pardon?
municipal buildings?
Well, no, I mean like in the lots where there's, you know, where the businesses, like the municipal, not municipal lot, the lot behind Yanni's, like that, maybe one of the buildings
Yeah,
would
the
like.
side.
Or on the side there next to the bistro, on the side of the
I'm sure the
bistro.
owners of the
Yeah.
bistro would be open to something like that, as long as it's not infringing on their frontage.
Depending on how much signage we can
Yeah.
afford with the $200, we may want
I'm
to,
saying the banner would go along there perhaps, and then the signage, we could put it in other places like the parking lots, stuff like that. But everyone driving down Main Street sees that hand on the side. They could also see a banner along the side.
Are you talking about where there's that banner, when you turn toward the library, there's banners there?
No, straight down Main Street, the corner of the bistro on Church Street, facing Main Street right here. Right where Liquid is, and then on the other side is the bistro, and there's a brick wall.
Okay, I know where you.
Yeah.
all right, so, and there are also businesses that have been really positive towards this, and I imagine we could go to them first. Thinking of Convenient Deli has been really supportive, so they might be a place that would say, hey, throw a sign up. You know?
Oh wait, that's a better idea actually, up there in front of that whole, that whole plaza gets a lot of traffic.
There's a ton of traffic,
There's
yeah.
the middle school and then the
Yeah,
college.
so they might even, you know, be willing to say, yeah, this would be willing to do that.
If we went to the fencing along all, where the cars park between Moxie Cupcake and Convenient, because if it's municipal, it's not municipal, right, it's private.
I would imagine it's
Because
probably,
I
yeah,
mean, it's not bad, something like
But I
that
think
along that.
it's possible more than it's convenient.
it's possible.
Yeah.
Does anyone know
Well,
if
if they
mobile
didn't
markets
open to
complying
it,
at
they
all?
wouldn't mind, they wouldn't mind putting a sign
What's
up.
that?
I'm curious about the gas station, because I think like, what they're doing.
Well, no,
Wait,
Mobile gives out, brown paper bags all the
Is that
time.
what
They don't
they're
give out
doing
any paper bags, yeah.
They switch
after
from
work
paper,
today, I
they
got
switch from
beer.
plastic to paper.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been good about it.
Good.
I was just curious what their solution was. It was paper bags.
Well, it's a corporation,
give
they
paper
can afford
bags.
to have, less of a margin.
I'll just say, I'm very old tonight, but anyway, I've noticed more and more I'm being asked if I want it back,
Yeah,
since they've switched.
it's true, me too, I've noticed that.
I mean, I was at Debbie's today, and they said, do you want it back? And
It's
they
true.
never used to ask that, they were always just happy to.
That's true.
So it has had that effect, I think.
And I think one of the things we talked about in plastic bag promotion was to try to get a gauge of what impact this has really had. And that was something we threw around a couple of ideas about. We've got the kids coming back from school and we talked about reaching out to piglets. And I think that's something that I want to bring up at another time if the piglets or maybe a science club at the high school would be interested in taking on that aspect of it, of trying to figure out how many plastic bags were taken out of circulation or something of that nature. It was an idea that we threw
What
around.
are you doing?
Me? I see a police car and I'm
Yeah, it's
wondering,
been there for like 5.
what are they, like, why are they still sitting there?
I mean,
They're
it's all-
sleeping.
It's all.
The new Mexican restaurant on North Front wanted a decal,
Hmm.
which was hard to come by, and we don't have any more free bags, do we?
We do.
I wanted to give the guys
They're just
some.
harassing students? Or if they're, no, there's not something wrong with their.
Oh, they stopped that car, that red car.
Oh,
Always.
Anyway, can you give me 5 or 6 bags I can take into the side? Don got me a decal. We didn't talk, we need more decals
Okay.
for businesses.
The decals, I don't know for sure.
I got one,
Okay.
which I'll give to this guy, but I think I heard Don say the decals are part of that $200. It's a lot.
Or that they could be, that's
Yeah.
something it could be
But
used
this is
for.
the guy who asked for it.
Great. All right, I will, and Don kind of knows the location of those, so I'll try to wrestle up some of those. I think there were some that were given to businesses and were not, the businesses opted for whatever reason not to distribute them. So those can be rustled up together and recollected.
Dennis, I believe, gave all of his to St. Joseph's.
Okay.
We have some at the Methodist Church, which I could steal, which I would feel bad about.
Let me ask Don about the ones that may just be sitting somewhere that aren't being
Yeah, that would be
distributed.
good.
All right, so let's move on to Millbrook Preserve. Rachel and I have been meeting with David Gilmore, the village planner, in regards to a Greenway grant that he would like to take out or apply for rather. That would be in addition to the larger CFA establishing the preserve. And this would be for a small kiosk and a bike rack and some directional signs leading people to the North Mannheim entrance of the Millbrook Preserve. So essentially he'd be asking for approximately,
$5,000.
I think, yeah, it ends up coming out to be a little bit more than that. It'll end up being
Oh, there's
$6,500.
two grants. There's like a big grant and a little one. We were talking about the little one.
Right,
The big one's about bog bridges and
yeah,
actually making the trail, and the little one's just about a marker.
yeah. So this is a small grant in addition to the larger grant that's being taken out. So that's kind of, Rachel and I went to a CWAS meeting, and sort of came to a consensus with them and David that it would be a good idea, given the size of the grant, where would we get the most bang for our buck, and came up with the idea of putting a kiosk at the North Manheim entrance. That's a village entrance, so this would be really to the benefit of citizens living in the village of New Paltz.
It's in the town, actually.
By kiosk, I mean just sort of like those information bulletin boards,
Oh, okay.
not like a manned kiosk,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
But the little bulletin boards like they have on the rail trail. And on that kiosk, so to speak, would be a map and rules, a list of basic rules. Don't, bring out your trash, or don't bring in any trash, or whatever it might be. So I think the total cost was something like $6,500 if you include the bike rack and the signage. So that's where they are. David, at the end of our meeting, asked if our group would be willing to support this project, and if so, to write I don't remember the terminology, referendum of support, or what was the terminology?
Resolution.
Resolution, thank you. If everyone felt comfortable in doing so, we are short, we just don't have Jackie, so we could email her. But if we could draft a resolution of support for the project as a commission, I believe the town ENCB already has. Is that correct? So our town cohort has already written this resolution, and he asked if we would be willing to do the same. So from an environmental standpoint, the trailhead there already exists. It's a well-worn trail. We wouldn't be disturbing any wildlife or vegetation in creating it. It's already a fairly beaten path, and this would be at the top of that. At the end of Mannheim, there's sort of like a horseshoe.
It's a T.
Yeah, it's like a T square
Yeah.
of cement. This would not be on the cement, but sort of right near the trailhead. So that's kind of where we are, and
You're looking for someone to write this?
no, I would be happy to write
Oh,
it.
good.
Yeah, I'd be happy to write it. I would just need
You would
the
come.
majority.
Yeah,
Yeah, if everybody would be willing to.
I'm for it.
No, you good, and Rachel, you for it? Okay, so I will forward all of the information I have on this to everybody,
Yeah.
and then I will also draft the resolution, which I'll send in the same email. And then, unless someone says otherwise, after everyone's reviewed it, I will go ahead and pass it along. Excellent. Municipal waste, we're gonna table till Jackie's here. She's gonna do a PowerPoint presentation next meeting.
Good.
Recycling list updates.
Okay, I'll pass it down. No, I think I have
A newer,
yeah.
wow, that could be.
Oh, this is great.
Oh, no, it must be right, has it?
Oh, yeah, I just.
No, this is it, yeah. And it's having a very good effect already. I'm taking it, I hand it out at churches and meetings, and real estate people are using it, and people are, for instance, one person was talking about using the Central Hudson electric thing and getting their refrigerators picked up and getting $50. And it's right there. And a bunch of people said, oh, I didn't know that I could recycle fluorescent bulbs there. And, this kind of battery. It's a slow thing. People look at it and say, oh, it's very nice. But then they actually use it. So, I have made my own copies because it's a pain here. But I need, if we want to go with this format, I need to get the billers to do it. I don't have the money to make more copies back to back. And the thing I've added since you last saw it is buyback, which is on the back page. Gazelle.com, Capstone Wireless, and others may take your old electronic devices and pay you for them. Research these carefully. That's a new idea
Great,
to me and to some other people.
great.
Instead of throwing it in the landfill. So, what I guess I want is it to be, this is the latest version, for this to be put on the, I think nobody looks at the village site, please forgive me for that. but-
Oh, you're probably right. I mean, the
You're
last
probably
time I looked at it, it was
tried
all
as hard
screwed
as
up.
I
Yeah,
could.
it still is.
Is it still screwed up? I know why, too.
To ask the clerk, I guess, to make these copies, I'm willing to fold it in half, and for people to hand it out to different places. I took it to the community center, 10 of them disappeared by the next week. I mean, we
This is
can't measure
great.
this.
Yeah,
We
it's
can't
fantastic.
measure what it's doing, but people are using it and things are getting recycled.
Yep, I think it's fantastic. One of the things that I was thinking too, and it hadn't dawned on me when you added Gazelle, another way to recycle your cell phones are some of those charitable organizations as well. So I don't want to make more work for you, but if you, I don't know if I would have a place there.
No, but this is, like, there's nothing wrong with this one, I can hand it out, but I'm perfectly willing to add stuff. I don't know the particular organizations that are taking the
Yeah.
the
They're more charitable organizations, so that might be,
I know Best Buy takes my TV, so I dropped off my TV up there for free. Yeah, it's an old piece of crud,
Well-
old TV.
yeah.
Let me just say about.
Those are usually the worst ones. No, most places try to handle them because they have CFCs.
These particular organizations clear your phone, or how do you know what I mean?
Mhm, yeah.
And I've given to organizations, the charitable ones, and I've always been afraid that what I was giving them was going to end up, causing trouble for all my friends or something.
Get a card out.
I'm sorry?
Just take a little SIM card out.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that, but you're right, if I would.
So,
Do you want to limit this to Paltz area?
No, well, look, it's just me going around handing it out.
No, I mean, did you not want to list, like, there's some places I know in Kingston, Juice Specialty.
What I tried to do here was make it places that I could go to. So I went to all of these places. There is room. I included the New York Department of Environmental Conservation because you could report environmental badness to them and something would be done about it, but that space that could be used for other things. I did try and make it as close to that. I'm entirely open.
Well, locally, there's those Lions Club where you can throw eyeglasses in the bins. There's one right out of Stockbridge. So that might be something to add.
Yeah,
Well, there's
okay.
Planet Aid.
Pardon me?
Planet Aid has those, like, I don't want to call them dumpsters, but they have those big boxes to collect clothing. They're on campus and they're in various
Well,
places.
that's a listing of.
Planet Aid it's called.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's a
know
listing
those.
of places where you can put, I guess,
The
clothes and
eyeglasses and the
shoes.
Planet Aid seem like that could be a kind of list of, there are some other ideas for.
Yeah.
For stuff, I could put that, I could shorten the environmental conservation New York thing.
I have
And put that in
some
there.
Salvation Army.
Okay.
or just some of the other suggestions, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phones, clothes, but,
But I am trying to keep it just this
Yeah.
size. And I'll tell you the experience I had in Cambridge, which is that, of course it was online there, but nobody used that. They put this on their refrigerator and they said, oh, where can I do the electronic? Oh, okay. That paperwork there,
I
believe it or
imagine
not,
that.
one of the most sophisticated places.
when you have your drawer full of takeout menus, this is the same size kind of, you know, so I can just, and whenever I have to recycle, I know to look in my, and I think there's something to that.
Bulletin board, it's
Yeah.
really weird.
Oh, yeah.
Take this
When you
board,
come to my house.
here's the recycling.
So, folks, when you go around, you can give those up to people.
I would like to make the village board aware of this list, that it exists. They may have other opportunities or uses for it that we may not even be able to think of, but.
But it can't be as big as the world.
Right,
Yeah.
and I agree, I think there's something to be said for the simplicity of, you know, of this, of very close by places.
So do you go to the board or to the village board?
I'm gonna go, I don't always, but
You're
I will be
going
going
tomorrow
tomorrow,
night.
yeah, I will be going
Give you
tomorrow.
some if you want
Sure.
to do that.
Absolutely,
It's at 7, right? Or-
yeah.
Well, I'll give you all of them, there you go.
Oh, I don't know, you know, if I pick, I'll just take one for each board member. so
Oh,
they
okay.
know.
All right.
So, item number one, I would want to make the board aware that this exists, they may have interest in it. Number two, we may want to just send Marnette any other suggestions that we have, and you can see if there's a place for them or not. And then we're still waiting for our page on the village website to be updated.
You need to send this most current version because I made a typo.
Okay. All right, so send me the most
All right,
current.
I'll do that.
Or we'll send you suggestions and then we'll see.
No, why don't I send you the?
So then, yeah, that's where we are with that.
Okay.
The village website has not been updated yet, but it hopefully will be soon. And when it is, this will be there somewhere.
You
But
said the Facebook page was used some?
there's a new Paltz Facebook page.
I've seen that.
There's several of them, but there's one that's, there's a new Paltz School Budget Watch, which is a great page, a lot of active parents. And then there's a new Paltz page, which is very used. It often is used for political discussions that are sometimes colorful. And then there's other pages that are like why New Paltz is silly, and you can imagine what's done there. But there are New Paltz pages, and
Oh, I was on one that I finally
got rid of, yeah.
got too mean. I didn't like it.
But we could certainly put these things out to those areas, and I have a Facebook account, so I could, but I think having them in an electronic format that's somewhere that's accessible, we're having, you know, this event, let's print them out.
Sure.
There may be uses beyond what we could think of or know about them.
Yeah.
So I will make people aware that it exists, and that it will be on our village website shortly.
That'd be great. And I'll send this to you tomorrow.
All right, great. Okay, climate smart communities.
I'm interested in that, but I think we have to table it because I don't think the town or village is going anywhere with it. I talked to Tim Rogers about it, the mayor, and it just seems like it's stalled in the planning process or the thought process.
Okay.
Because we have other things on the agenda, other things to do.
Yep, agreed.
So, yeah, I mean, I've done climate smart stuff. I'm ready to do it whenever it's presented, but there's not enough background into it, I think.
And if you're already focusing on the open space,
Yeah.
we'll just keep you in that area.
It
Okay.
happens all the time.
Yep, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
No, the climate smart stuff I do have one of the most experience with along with GIS, and I'd like to do it. I've done climate action plans for other municipalities, so if there's a bunch of people in support of this within here, the village board and the planning board of some sort, or some other municipal
That will
operations.
happen in the future.
Yeah, but I think due to the fact that we pledged to be a climate smart community, we're being severely hypocritical of the notions taken. Yeah, because it was pledged before I even moved to New Paltz, I think, it was 2007 or 2008.
Yeah, yeah.
And
You weren't at the meeting when we went with the town committee.
when was that?
The joint,
Oh, I was at the meeting. That was
That joint committee?
about 6 weeks ago.
It's
It's
just,
not the
it's a
last
big
one, the one
deal.
before.
Or
It's a big pain in the neck.
Yeah.
It's
I
like,
felt
it
like-
involves like tons and tons of data collection.
Oh, I've done that before. I don't
Well,
mind
I
it.
felt like it involved people not wanting to do anything. I'm sorry to put it that
Oh,
way.
well, no, that
It
is
was
what
stagnation.
happens. People promise to do it over and over again and then didn't do
darn
it.
thing. So
Exactly.
that's what I think
After
Noah's
paying-
picking up. Why should he put his effort into
I
that?
totally agree with him. I'd rather make the changes than measure them.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had a choice,
Implement.
we need to measure them too, but if I had a choice, I would go with making them.
I mean,
Yeah.
I have connections to other people who have led numerous climate action plans for municipalities throughout central New York. I can tap into those resources whenever I need to, but hopefully within a couple of years we get it on it.
Okay, that's the right attitude.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll be part of this board in a couple of years, but I'll do what I
because
can.
everybody's leaving.
Look, if we might have to devote all our energy to fighting them.
And we've come to drop everything and focus on one thing before, and so it may happen again. All right, so we're gonna table Climate Smart. It will not appear on next agenda unless somebody
Unless it
wants to put it back.
changes. Okay.
The volunteer fair, Rachel, you had sent out an email about the volunteer fair. don't know
Well, I
if you
put
want
it on the agenda, oh, yeah. Yeah, if anyone wants to do that, I feel like I haven't done it for a while, and you never know, it's a good thing to do, even if we, usually what happens is you'll recruit like 10 or 15 people, and then maybe 1 or 2 of them will actually want to do something. Even so, it's good outreach, because you sit there and there's like a lot of students come through, it's in the,
Well, if we incentivize it, if we give them a project to do or something, they could get internship credit, which is valuable to anyone in the college atmosphere right now.
absolutely, you just have to find them, and I just,
We'll advertise internship credit for a few hours a week.
Yeah, but-
Anyone will buy it.
As
We did-
as a
we've done
researcher,
I would have done it if I had known, like, if I went to SUNY New Paltz, I was a student getting into what I'm doing now or what I studied at college, environmental policy and law, I would have definitely joined the town board or village board or city board, whatever it may be, if I had the opportunity to get free credit. All right, 5 hours a week to do this. By the end of the semester, I have a project done, and then there you go. That's credit for me, work done for the town.
because the law creates the researcher positions, it is an official position.
Yes.
So it would be a matter of perhaps coordinating with anyone who needed that type of credit beyond the classroom, and then corresponding with whomever their supervisor, whomever, and saying, look, this is an official position created by law, and have those people
Well,
do a
it
time
doesn't
sheet.
even have to be that stringent, like
God,
colleges
I
and
forgot to
internships.
ask the village, the village
Are
might
not
already have
that
a
strict
table
as
at it.
long as you have a
The
steady work
village-
schedule,
I
a
don't
supervisor
know
who will
if
vouch
they
for
do or
you,
not.
and end result. It's not like you're there
Right.
sorting papers, now you call it an internship. No, that's
Is-
BS
I
work.
guess I don't
But
know.
if you do come out with a final product, something that you can say, you learned, you studied, you at least put effort into doing this, be it a small little volunteer day or environmental cleanup or something more significant. I mean, the environmental cleanup would obviously have to have standards and organizing it.
We just, on the committee, who's gonna do it? I mean, Oliver, I guess,
Well, no.
which is great, but we.
I'm saying,
Who's
we
gonna go
already,
and sit there all day?
I'll sit there all day one day at the
Well, now-
volunteer fair to recruit,
The
but
volunteer
I
fair
want
is,
someone else to come.
Rachel, the volunteer fair is on the 21st?
Whatever I sent you.
Yeah, I don't have it.
I'm sorry, I remembered it because I used to do it every year. I haven't done it for the last 2 years. But I used to do it every year, and, they give you a sandwich.
and also if you do make it an official
The
position,
village signs up for it, they pay like $25 or something like that, and usually what I've done is, there's usually someone else in the village, one of the board members or something who also wants to look for an intern, so
Oh, here it
we
is.
usually table together,
yeah.
Friday, September 11, 1 to 4. I will be teaching at that time, so that's,
I will be working.
Okay,
so Friday, September 11, 1 to 4.
so someone else in the village might wanna do it.
But I'm saying, if we can get an internship description written out, say next meeting or whatever, you could send it to SUNY teachers or whatnot, and they'll send it out on a listserv. Anyone interested in environmentalism, policy, municipal law, politics, whatever it may be, see this
What was the time
internship.
on that again?
1 to 4.
1 to 4.
Description.
I'm willing to sit down with someone in the next couple of weeks, whenever we find free time, and get an internship description out and requirements. Obviously, we'd think about it more, what it would delve into.
I'd be glad to do that. I have the ones I've used in the past, and you could just add to them or do something, you know, whatever.
All right, that'd be great. If you just add it to the Google Drive, I can
Yeah.
look at it. Or
Okay,
You
you
gotta
are the
remind
teacher-
me, I'm
You are
so,
the teacher guy, so.
I mean, I would be happy to help.
I mean, no, I'll look at it too, yeah.
So then, if I'm hearing correctly, Rachel, are you saying you want to go to the volunteer fair?
oh yeah, I'll do it.
September 11, 1 to 4?
Yeah.
And then you would need to be armed with a description of internship, which you may or may not have something that would.
Well,
We
I
could create
mean,
multiple positions, honestly, as long as.
I'm not sure it's that simple.
Well,
Well,
for my graduate requirement, I had to do an internship.
Right, but when public access was trying to hire interns, and they did, they had to have a relationship with a professor, and there were a lot of official requirements, so you have to have that.
Well, it depends on your program.
oh, well, the student, I'll tell you what I did, because I did it for years.
Yeah.
And basically, it was up to the student. They set up an independent study, or they do it with as their research project. So basically, the student's responsible for all of the academic credit, and the professor is responsible for giving them a grade. They'll turn in a report on what they're doing, but it's basically as an independent study. And so then the village part of it is just, you know, supporting them. You know, I would take them to the site, here's where it is, here's why we need this water tested, but the student would work with the professor and setting up the test protocol, setting up all the sort of academic parameters. So it is definitely, it's official and it's paperwork and all that, but the student's responsible for it. And
Here's what
Yeah.
we would be advertising. We would be advertising position of researcher that's created by the law. And we would simply put out at the volunteer fair, this is what we're looking for, researchers. And you know, that's what we're advertising, is a researcher position. How the student then navigates using that as something for whatever, you know what I mean? So if
Yeah.
so then the student might say, hey, this would fit for this class or this requirement. Then the onus would be on them, like you're saying, to
Right.
provide any documentation to keep track of any hours.
yeah.
And we would simply be
We help them do it, but
Right.
it's their relationship with the professor. And most professors are open to that, but it really is student-driven. You know, my dream has always been to somehow have it go the other way, have the professor be, you know, have their whole class do something or whatever, but it's, you know, that's much more difficult.
Yeah, and we really don't have those projects clearly in mind.
Oh, I have
Do we?
very clear
Well,
projects in mind,
well,
complete details actually that could be
Oh,
pulled.
that's wonderful, okay.
Absolutely.
So that
The-
shows you what I don't know.
the
No,
law.
I
The
do,
law
but
states that that
Someone
each
has to-
commissioner would have 2 researchers, and that those researchers would be active in helping that particular commissioner with their particular aims or goals. So, and this is sort of at the bottom of the agenda, but it fits into our discussion now. At some point, we should have each commissioner in a lane working on a particular project. And so, you know, that might be the open space inventory at this point. And, you know, for myself, I might want to continue working on the plastic bag law, or maybe it would be time to move
Well,
on.
it has the recycling list. and
But
stuff
that's,
like that.
that's kind of the goal. And so the researchers are supposed to assist the commissioner in that. Now, it would certainly be at the commissioner's discretion to say, I also want to think about this, this, and this, because we're never just doing one thing and talk about 10 on per agenda or something. But you know, that's kind of what we could advertise. We have these researcher positions created by this law, and you put it out there to the kids, and then it would be up to the kids to say, this will help me with this. So then, Rachel, we can send you there from September 11th, 1 to 4.
Yeah, but
Do
the
you think
village
that-
has to respond and say they want the table and pay the $25 registration fee. I just messaged him, I don't know, like, I have no idea whether the village is already doing it or not. They used to,
Okay,
but, I mean, who knows?
okay.
I don't think there's no students currently on the board. There's no one, SUNY-ish on the board at all now, right? No.
I don't think so.
So then it's a matter
So
of.
they might
them
not
having
have,
to
they
do
might
it.
not have registered or signed up or be doing anything about it, so.
So we
I'm
need to
gonna-
find out if the village is registered, and if not, registration information.
Yeah, it might even be
Too
late,
late.
but they'll usually, I don't know if it'll be too, they'll probably let us in, because,
Okay.
you know, it's not.
All right, so let's see if we can get an answer from someone on the village board. You
And I
said
don't
we
mind
need to-
sharing a table with, you know, I think we shared tables with Creo once, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay, so,
And I have this, all the stuff, if you want it, if, no one's, no one here can do it though, no one here can sit there with me.
I can't physically, I'm sorry.
yeah, I went to forum working.
You're working, yeah. All right, so I'm not gonna do it by myself. I need someone from the village. Someone
Okay.
on anyone on the village board who's interested. I'm sure someone, they might not just know about it. maybe
They may have a
want to.
need, they may have needs of their
Maybe Dawn
own.
would do it, our liaison, maybe Dawn. But, yeah, I gotta,
It's a long day with.
it's not just, yeah, it's the whole thing. I've got a display board and all this material and stuff like that. So people, yeah, so I wanted, like, talk to someone about it. Like, we didn't use it at the Earth Day because we had other stuff going on, but
So let me shoot out an email to, I'll shoot out an email to Tim, Don, Dennis, Ray, or Rebecca, and find out if anyone's already doing it, and if not, if there's any interest on their side of someone joining you at the table. And,
Yeah, if
and that's how
someone
we'll
wants to
frame
do
it,
it.
and also for them to pick up the bill for it.
right, the village
Okay.
has to. It's, I think it's $25 it might be.
Okay, so that's fantastic. Last thing, yes, this is the last thing. SUNY letter. I drafted a SUNY letter that's in Google Docs. We're all shared on it.
Yeah.
It may have been a little light on the research, admittedly, but I'm an English teacher, so
I
that's.
thought about it, and I think that if you're sending it to Ovak, we might as well just talk to him. Because I don't know exactly what, you know, what the best approach is, you know what I mean? Because he's familiar with it. I've had students of his doing internships before, you know? And I'd be curious to see just, you know, what his take is, you know, what he thinks, you know, or how he thinks we should approach the rest of the faculty. If you wanted to go through him, you had it addressed to him, so. But I haven't had a chance to try to, I don't even know if he's in town, he must be back in town. School started already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would just,
So.
yeah, I've seen kids everywhere, but you know, yeah, so yeah.
In order to, I mean, from my perspective, I guess just as an English teacher, but I like the formal letter
Mhm.
as like, this is what I want from you, here it is on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So in order to make that letter better,
I've gotta
more research would be needed. And
I'll
I-
put something into it. I'll look at it again, I'm sorry.
Or if you do want to just tell me where to look and which APA citation, or
Yeah, that's the new thing.
if I was gonna do, if you want to just tell me where to look or what to add, I can do it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, but like, I would put it a different way, you know, about the studies, because we do have all these very useful studies. It would be nice to do some of them again, actually, because they were done years ago. But we have a couple of professional ones, and then, you know,
Right, and the couple things I did put in there were from the larger Millbrook Preserve plan.
Right, but those were student, like, I mean, the student studies are great, and it's a great experience for the student, but they're
There's
spotty.
more for yourself.
Well, I mean, I've only had a few, I've only had like 7 or something like that, and they're all different types of things, and they're water quality studies, but the students don't always exactly follow the protocol. I mean, I had one that, like, you know, didn't, you have to, like, when you take samples, and if you're testing for E. coli, you have to do it right away. You can't let the sample sit. The sample sat for a while. You know what I mean? Like, different things can go wrong.
So if you want
And
to,
so it's sort of like, okay, well, yeah, it's great the students did a study, but you wouldn't cite it
you wouldn't cite it.
necessarily. I mean, the studies are cited in the Millbrook Preserve report, the professional consultant's report, but only like as part of a greater, like, yes, we did this water study, this shows the water, this.
So if you want to tell me which are the more reliable ones to.
Yeah, I'll look at that, I
Okay.
promise you, I'll do it soon.
Yeah, and then as, you know, and then we can, you know, just move it forward, because I think the basic gist is good, it just might be a little bit light on the.
Yeah, it's okay,
All right.
it's good.
Okay, so we'll talk more about that via email. Anything else anyone wants to add? Okay, very good.
Awesome.
Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.